Hello, and welcome to Feels Like Magic, the podcast where you will get the grounded self-development wisdom you might need to feel amazing about the person you authentically are. I'm Jo, a transformational coach, speaker, and author, and for decades I was so stuck in self-criticism that I never thought I would feel good about being me. Now I inhabit a new reality, one where I care way less about what other people think. I'm willing to show up as the person that I am, and I deepen into self-love and acceptance every single day. Honestly, it feels like magic. Each week, I'll share scientifically proven tools, things I've learned from the world's best coaches, and personal stories I know you'll relate to. Ready? Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful one. How has your week been? How are you? How are you doing? I've had one of those weeks where life has just lifed at me big style. There's been some big stuff. And, I really notice in these moments that my ability to bounce back is much stronger than it used to be. And I do credit that to the inner child work that I've done, because my inner child isn't getting as distressed as she used to, but also the nervous system work. And it doesn't mean that I still don't have reactions to things. It just means that they'd maybe take an hour as opposed to a whole day. And I really value that because that's time you never get back, right? So yeah, life has been lifing. And if life has been lifing for you too, I'm sending you a lot of love. And what I thought I would do for this episode is to return to the topic of rest, which I think is such a juicy one for us, and actually read you something that I wrote in 2020 when I was thinking about this. And, so often we can just push ourselves towards exhaustion, and that's where burnout can come in, and that's where high levels of stress in our body can come in, and that's where snapping at the people we love can come in. And it really is a myth that resting is selfish. So I'm just going to read you this piece that I wrote, and I hope that you enjoy it and you get something from it, and that today can just be a real reminder to slow down. This year, I've worked hard on the art of doing nothing, but it doesn't come naturally. I recently found I had trouble relaxing, labeling myself as lazy instead of leaning into the recuperation I needed. This was a deep-rooted belief from childhood, but bringing it into my consciousness enabled me to reframe it. I'm not lazy, I say to myself now. I'm taking time to replenish my energy. I find it amazing how quickly we can change our narratives when we dig a little. I also remember feeling that there simply wasn't time to rest. In a taxi in my 20s, late for a client meeting, the driver looked at me and said, "Take a breath, love. The world will be there in another minute." In the grip of anxiety, I couldn't believe him. Something struck me then, the feeling that this was just a deeply disturbing way to live. It was the catalyst for leaving my career. If you have those voices, the ones that say, "Shouldn't you be?" know that you are not alone. As Brene Brown says, it takes courage to say yes to rest and play in a culture where exhaustion is seen as a status symbol. We can choose to say yes. We have courage. I hope this helps. My voices like to tell me I'll fall behind if I don't keep going, that other people will get there first, and I ask, get where? I'm right here, enjoying my life, being in my life. There's a lot to be said for doing very little, nothing at all, if you can manage it. So that is what I wrote 4 years ago. And we need these reminders. We fall back into cycles and patterns and thinking that things need to be now, now, now. And what I try and remind myself of is, if there was some kind of emergency, I would find a way to slow things down. I would find a way to find more spaciousness. I would find a way. And it doesn't have to get to that. So if you have been working hard all year and it's dark and it's cold outside and you're still pushing yourself, may this be an invitation to you to come back into your body, into your heart, into doing nothing, into sitting and looking at the trees, One of the most beautiful practices that I have started to do every day is called a soul sabbatical. And it's where we go out and I set a timer on my phone for 5 minutes and I'm just in nature. I don't look at my phone. I'm usually in the park in Lisbon. I don't look at my phone. I just look around me and I really try and be present, because when we're always rushing and we're always going, we also miss it. We miss these beautiful moments of life. So I hope you find more. I hope this is an invitation for a savoring of your experience. And before I close this episode, I just want to talk a little bit about guilt, because the thing I can imagine you saying is, but I feel guilty. First of all, I would just really get clear with yourself around, is it guilt that I'm feeling, or is it comparison? Is it fear? So am I comparing myself to other people? Am I fearing that something is going to happen if I rest? Am I fearing that people are going to forget about me? Am I fearing that my colleague at work is going to get further ahead than me? Just get really clear about actually what is playing out for you. Because a lot of the time, it's not guilt, it's comparison or it's fear. Definitely those two in my experience. And even with this podcast, I almost didn't record this today. And I never, ever make decisions from fear. So I never want to be pushing myself because I'm afraid that you guys are all going to go away or anything like that. And so I gave myself full permission not to do it. And then I got to the end of the day and I really wanted to. And so that was a much more beautiful space to come into to deliver this message than if I had pushed myself out of fear. So that is just an aside on the guilt piece. Like, get really clear about what is underneath the thing that you're feeling that is a resistance to slowing down and a resistance to rest. And there are two types of guilt. There is the guilt that pushes you to put something right because you've done something quote unquote wrong. So say, for example, you had hit someone and you had caused them pain and you wanted to make an amends for that. That's what guilt is for, going to do something. But then there's punishing and unproductive guilt. And that's where so many of us find ourselves, where we have an identity of being a good person. And in order to be that in our minds, we have to punish ourselves for doing something that actually is making us feel good. It is a wild, wild world. So just notice if you have guilt over rest, if you have resistance to rest, really think about why. Does it really serve other people for you to be burnt out? Does it really serve other people for you to be unable to do your job properly, whatever that job is? Does it really serve other people for you to go so far that you get sick? These are all the things that happen when we don't pay attention to the needs of our body. So just a reminder, my love, to rest and create spaciousness. And there is nothing to be feel guilty about. Take care of yourself. Really take care of yourself. I'm sending you so much love. I hope this is really nourishing for you and your heart and your spirit and your soul. And that you get a lovely snuggly blanket. I have one right here and Hope is like sitting on it with me. And really just allow yourself to go a little bit slower, to go a little slower, and to be a little bit more present in exactly what is. Thank you so much for being here and being you. If you're ready to dive deeper on your self-development journey, visit joannebell.org, where you can sign up to get even more magic, access incredible bonuses, and find out more about working with me.